I mean, I would call myself a libertarian populist because populism sort of as an empty vessel just means to be popular. And I would hope that we would want our ideas to be popular. And there's a good part of who we are when we sort of rage against government control and government oppression and government collusion between business. These are all sort of righteous populist anger sorts of issues, but we also have this beautiful, peaceful alternative that we probably don't talk enough about, like the beautiful things that can happen when people are free to cooperate and create and experiment and pursue their dreams. I feel like that's part of the French ethos. I mean, that liberty part of the story.
Yeah, it's really every country, every people has their contradiction. It's one of the big contradictions of the French. They both want to be independent, to be left alone. So there's a left alone coalition. They join it, but at the same time, they seems to be able to rely on the state on many things, to let the state do and grow the way they can until a certain point, and then they say stop. That's why often in French history, when they say stop to the state, it's become very violent.
Yeah,
and maybe. Yellow Vest, even we say together, it's mostly the Antifa were violent. We could see the Yellow Vest people being more and more mad about the situation too.
Yeah.
So what you're talking about, the freedom of speech and the way for French people to be able to say what they want is key. And this recent law we have in France to constrain and condemn you or sue you based on what you say or even what you may think, it's both dangerous and it's really contradictory to our French tradition have been to speak loud, sometimes to the point that you may think French American we're rude or we don't behave well. We tend to say too easily what we think.
Yeah.
And we feel that in the US, you don't have all this law, but you have more like a social constraint. I don't know if you would see the same. Like there's a politically correctness that you can't tell what you want. You wouldn't be maybe sued by the state or condemned based on the law like in France. But there's another way to constrain free speech.
Yeah,
Would you say that?
There's it's interesting, and I feel like this is a brand new phenomenon. Perhaps we've imported this from France. The idea that speech is violence, because the American ethos was always the First Amendment, left, right, center, communist, capitalist, whatever you were, there was a consensus that free speech, even bad speech, even speech coming from really awful people, was something that we tolerated, and we responded in kind by correcting them, by engaging them, by arguing in the public square. That was the American ethos. But the new thing seems to reflect, and it's not, of course, just France. I mean, you have a lot of speech code emerging just to the north in Canada as well. But I remember all the way back to the Charlie Hebdo attacks and reading my friend Matt Welsh at Reason very much documented that the Charlie Hebdo legal fights that they had been having with the French government long before they were attacked by terrorists. They were being destroyed by government speech codes. So this is not a brand new thing for you guys.
No, it's true. And the question is where it's coming from. If it's from France or the US, or who became a master at doing it. It's a debate we have with French and American. It seems from the research that it comes from French professors that came to the US and developed it in your university, from what I understood. People like Derrida, Foucault, all these people that we send you and we were glad to get rid of. You welcome them maybe too much in the university and develop this concept of being offended. So you can be offended on anything, and so
this may be one case where I don't support free speech or free flow of labor across borders. We don't need to be importing or exporting bad ideas.